2025 means we are at the start of the quarter-century mark, and we're seeing new trends in two wars that continue to dominate headlines. From high-tech weapons in Russia's fight against Ukraine to shifting powers in the Middle East, the way wars are fought and where the battles take place is changing. For more on what war in this era looks like, we are joined by Frederick Labar. He's the Associate Professor of Political Science at Royal Military College of Canada. Good morning.
Good morning, Anne-Marie.
Let's start with Ukraine and Russia. They are increasing their use of new, more powerful drones as that war progresses. And to tackle the growing problem of cyber attacks, NATO says they're going to launch what they're calling the world's first integrated cyber defense center. That's happening in 2028. What role do these technologies play in how wars are being fought today?
Well, how wars are being fought today is changing a little bit because of that technology, but the nature of war has not changed. The role of drones, for example, is to saturate, to overwhelm, and to confuse in the physical realm. The advantage of the drones and its disadvantage is that it can be unattributable. Basically, drones are so easy to manufacture, they're easy to procure, they're in a sense democratic in that sense, and that is the real danger, because they can be used by non-state actors in a many varieties of scenarios. That's the real problem. When it comes to cyber attacks, again, the methods, the techniques, or the technologies are new, but actually it's the same issue. We're trying to overwhelm, saturate in the information realm. And so in this sense, a new cyber center, integrated cyber center, is a step in the right direction, I would say, but it is not a major deterrent against what we've always tried to do, which is win the battle of hearts and minds in that sense. So the cyber attacks are sometimes combined with physical attacks, certainly. That is new. That is technology here is an enabler, but in terms of the real problem of cyber attacks and information attacks is how they affect the individuals and the public's point of view with regards to war.
Speaking of, I want to pull focus out a little bit, but still take a look at two major conflicts that we're watching in the world right now. Iran's missile attack on Israel last spring raised concerns about the United States becoming directly involved in that conflict. And then Russia says the U.S. allowing Ukraine to strike Russia with U.S. missiles means that the U.S. is already involved in this war. So what is the risk of regional conflicts becoming global ones?
In the case of Iran and Israel, I think that what you see in the Middle East, and I'm not an expert on the Middle East, but I will go on a limb here. What you see in the Middle East is a function of the perception that the United States is weak. So Iran is pushing the envelope ever more, but other actors are doing the same, and actors whom the United States would consider allies until very recently, like Pakistan and Afghanistan. You probably saw that Pakistan and Afghanistan are having a border war right now. So that is a function of the belief that the United States is currently weak or weakened. So let's not connect what is happening in the Middle East too directly to what is happening between Russia and Ukraine. With regards to Ukraine and the Russian war becoming a regional or even maybe a global confrontation, highly unlikely. Highly unlikely. Russia is extremely weak at the present moment, and the risk of escalation in any shape or form is very, very, very remote at this point.
I want to take a look at nuclear weapons for just a moment. The doomsday clock represents how close atomic scientists believe that the world is to human-caused destruction. The clock has stayed at 90 seconds to midnight since 2023. It moved to represent the risk of the use of nuclear weapons against the backdrop of Russia's war in Ukraine. How concerned should regular citizens like ourselves and our viewers be about this?
I don't think that I appreciate the scientists' doomsday clock going back some 40, 45 years, but this 90 seconds is very, very arbitrary. When we talk about the responsible use of nuclear weapons, even the Russians have to consider the fact that the performance of all their weapons in the Russian-Ukraine war has been lackluster at best. So think about all the things that may go wrong in the launching of a Russian nuclear weapon. Mr. Putin does not know if the person will obey that order. He does not know if the order is obeyed, whether the contact between the keys and the ignition switch will actually take place, whether the fuel will burn, whether the silo will open, whether the rocket will actually fire or incinerate itself in its silo. And if it does launch, he does not even know if it's going to continue its full course or land on its own cities. So if you're trying to bluff,
right,
it is very, very difficult to bluff with such variables, intangibles. So I'm not at all concerned with this.
Frederick Labar, Associate Professor of Political Science at Royal Military College of Canada. Great to have your insights as we start off in the new year. We'll be right back.
Thank you very much.
If you liked that video, make sure to subscribe to the Your Morning YouTube feed, where you can find all kinds of new content posted every weekday morning.